Okay, so another question that our clients have is, okay, Juan, how exactly does the appraisal work? Who pays for it? Can we control it? Are they going to undervalue my property? What are we going to do about this? And so it's a legitimate question. So basically, the appraisal is ordered by the buyer's lender. Today, as of the last market crash in 2008, after the market crash, the appraisals are ordered by the lender and no one has any control over it. So it's meant to be, it is in fact, a legitimate third party's opinion of value of the property, right? Now, what happens is that, let's say we're selling your property, we sign a contract with a buyer for, let's say, $400,000. And the next step is that the buyer's lender will order the appraisal. The way that that works is that the buyer's lender basically places an order online into what's called an appraisal management system. And that appraisal management system sends that order to a local appraiser in South Florida, right? And then that local appraiser contacts us, let's say me, as a representative of the seller, and they'll say, hey, I need to do an appraisal at your listing, 123 Main Street. And then we schedule a time and they come over and see it. Now, here's what happens. We cannot try to influence that appraiser, right? So what used to happen before the last market crashes of 2008, which was, hey, listen, you're going to, right, get our number, right, 400,000, etc. We cannot even try to have a conversation around possibly influencing, whether it's myself or you as a seller or the buyer. We cannot interfere. Now, what we can do is we can have some proof for the appraiser to justify some added value. So for example, what we will definitely do to an appraiser, in terms of helping them understand the value of your property is, let's say that your property has been completely updated, right? We would definitely make a list that includes all of the updates and, if possible, even receipts. Like for investors, when an investor is reselling a property that they bought as a flip, as a rehab property, right? Maybe they bought it for, I don't know, $300,000. They invested $50,000 into it and they're trying to sell it for, I don't know, $400,000 as an example. What we would do is, here's, it's got a brand new roof, impact windows, it's got brand new appliances, and we'll demonstrate it, we'll justify it with proof, right? Many times the labels are literally still on the appliances and things like that. And so the appraiser will have to, they will factor that in, right? Now, if it's a regular property that maybe had updates done, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe you don't have the receipts anymore, the invoices, right? But they're clearly updates. And so we'll make a list to justify to the appraiser that, Mr. Appraiser, just wanted to share this information with you, which will hopefully help you, do your job and understand the value of this property. And they're usually pretty open to that. Again, if we are kind about it, around it, and we know how to have that conversation correctly, let's say, we'll make a list, right? It's got a brand new roof, it's got impact windows, all the bathrooms are updated, the flooring was redone, the central AC is, 2 years old, it's got solar panels, and we'll highlight all these items in your property, if we can, to bring them to his or her attention, so that they can understand the added value of all these features for your property, right? Because if we don't, which many realtors don't, then clearly they might just not even notice, right? They might not realize that the marble is imported from Italy, right? Or that the refrigerator is, I don't know, it's a $10,000 refrigerator versus a $1,000 refrigerator, right? I'm being extreme here, but hopefully you can, you understand. So the most important thing is that the buyer pays for it. We can't control it, but we can definitely highlight and justify the added value in your property as long as we're able to, right? So also, the appraiser is going to use the most recently closed sales first in the same subdivision, and if they can't, in the last 6 months, and first in the same subdivision, and if there aren't any recently closed sales in the same subdivision, an appraiser will typically go out to within a half a mile radius, and then a 1 mile radius if he or she can't find any comparables. And if they can't find any comparables in the last 6 months, then they would go out to the 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months, and then they'll make some adjustments based on the most recent appreciation, etc. So that's usually how it works. Also, most appraisers are being pretty fair, but appraisals are typically based on the past, right? On the recent sales, not the anticipation of where the market is going to be in a month, right? So it's important that we understand that, because in a neutral market, it's easy for the recent closed sales, let's say that the recent closed sales were 395, 397, and 398. Well, your property, assuming that it's the same, might be 400, right? But if the market has been appreciating very, very fast, then these sales might lag behind. And so the appraisal value might also lag behind. So it really depends on the market that we're in. We're approaching a more normal market at this point. And so we are not expecting to have many issues with appraisals. But if in the extreme scenario that, let's say your property, let's say we agree that the property should be worth $500,000. If the appraisal says $400,000, you are not obligated to sell for $400,000. What we would do is request a second appraisal. And we've done that many, many times. And it's normal. And many times, most of the time, the buyer also is shocked by a very low appraisal. Now, if there's a discrepancy of maybe $10,000 or $20,000, there's usually a way that we can reach some type of happy medium. But probably the most important thing for you to know is that you are not obligated to sell for appraised value, but depending on the market, hopefully the appraisal value will be very close to market value. So anyway, I know that was a ton of information, but if you have any other questions about this or anything else, let us know, and I will see you in another video.